first chapter is my first fight. And then let's change pace and I go with my family. Second book, third chapter is another fight, and then come back with my girlfriend. The next one is my next fight, and then come out with family. Next fight, family. So it's like a layered approach. So it's not just a bullying cube of fighting. There's a lot more to it. But you know what's interesting? When you enter a tournament like the Golden Globes, the worst thing is, you know what the worst thing is? If you win, you have to come back and you have to do it again. So, I go back. I'm in Madison Square Garden at this point, and I have to fight this guy. He shouldn't have been there. He had many fights. He fought in the Air Force. Big tattoo, early chest, 26 years old. And I'm in the third round. And I'm totally spent. I can't, he's bringing me to the end. Normally when I fought, I'd be, I crouch like so, okay? But he brought it, so I would have to be like here. I just didn't want to. And he's, normally to get out of the way of a fight, a punch, you normally have to do like one thing, duck or feint or parry or sidestep or head movement. Well, I did like everything to get out of the way of this guy. We have a film of it. I cringe even thinking we can have to see it again. I don't like that guy. I felt third round, I felt 98% dead. But a thick-skinned stupidity kept me going. I dug down deep and tried to coax out the furry figure who swung from branch to branch in the back of my brain. But by now my punches were bullets. My ribs heaved with exhaustion. Flesh burned away, melting in hot sweat drops. Dear God, I begged, help me. Help me. I clawed down deeper, and I was able to drag one more desperate, exhausted fist through the smoky air. It smacked onto his bloody face. Down he went, clang. So, at this point, at the end of this fight, I couldn't walk back to my dressing room. I couldn't walk. I didn't have the energy. I had to stop. I was sitting there, and I started. What's a nice word? Vomiting. It was all very humiliating. But at least I did that in the dressing room. So we have this fight, and we have the fight afterwards, and I skew it a little bit. There's going to be this fight, which is the quarterfinals. It's short, and then the fight after is the finals, in the semifinals, where I knocked down the guy. And I don't like him either. I'm being facetious. And I was ashamed of that. Okay, thank you. At one point, I didn't go. I went in. That fight was a fight where I was not feeling 100%. I was feeling pretty bad. Like my throat was the color of your seats. I was not feeling good. It was red raw, and I was spitting up phlegm the color of a school bus, and I was not feeling good. But I knew I had maybe one or two busloads of friends coming to see me fight. And I was Irish people, so I had guys at Blarney Stone like counting on me, and I was filling seats. And I was not feeling good. And then you don't know when you're going to fight. What happens is that you take a hat, and I'm number one, and you put in 1 fights 2, 3 fights. It's as simple as that. And then I'm going to fight this guy. And I didn't want to. And my father, he told me later, you're drawing all the tough guys. I drew Gigliello, I drew this guy. It wasn't an easy birth. And so I go in there, and at one point, I pride myself not to think, because my brain is my weakest link. So I try to be like no pain. I try to be no brain, no pain. So at one point in there, we saw it. I didn't know exactly where it was. I said, you look stupid. You're getting hit. Just lay down. You suck. And I'm there, and I'm on the ropes. And he says, you know what? You're sick. No one will know. Just lay down. You see, And then I was so ashamed of myself, and not shortly thereafter, I came up with that hook. And that hook was like hitting a home run in some guy's jaw. It was, a brutal but beautiful feeling. And two bad things, problems in life can't be eradicated that quickly or that easily or that, I don't know. But that's why I felt that way. I'm going to end there because we have some interesting things. However, I just want to close with one thought here. I've done a lot of thinking about this. And you ever notice why two boxers, after they fought each other for 3 tough rounds, or 6, 8, 10, 12 tough rounds, what do they always do? They always embrace each other. They always hug each other. God, they just want to block them. Why is that? It's always kind of, I liked it, but why? And I realized what it was, I think. It's because after such a grueling experience, you see in your opponent the very virtues that you see in yourself. You see in your opponent the things that you like in yourself. You see bravery and tenacity, trickery, maybe. You see speed, toughness, and that all-important courage. And you see that in a fighter. And Sweet Pea Whitaker, who was a great fighter in Philadelphia, he said an interesting thing. He said, when two fighters are in the ring, their souls kind of touch. And I've always liked that. So that's the magic of boxing. That's the magic within this book. And my other book, which is a sequel, which we have other things we're going to do tonight. But that's the final bell for me. And I want to thank you. Are there any questions? Before we go on to something very kind of neat, and that is going to be, and I want to introduce these guys we have some music.
Yeah.
But are there any questions? I'd like to entertain any questions you might have about what I said in the book. Yes?
Yeah. You mentioned that if the boxing helped you get rid of some anger, and I'm wondering, is it the physical activity and the physicalness of boxing itself, or the hurting of your opponent, or the getting hurt, or what is it exactly? Have you been able to analyze that feeling of why it helped you get rid of some anger?
Okay, the question was, what is it about boxing that help me eradicate and get rid of my anger? Was it the physicality, or was it something more? And the boxing was like an expectorant for me. It enabled me to be proud of myself. And I was doing. Eleanor Roosevelt said a very interesting thing, and it stays with me. And I love to tell my students. She said at White Plains High School, she said, you must do the very thing that scares you the most. And when I was that kid in Lodi, watching those kids fight, holy smokes, no way could I do that. But that's what I wanted to do. Maybe I wanted that girl to kiss me on the cheek. She was so pretty. So I think the attainment, the day-to-day, working toward a goal. The boxing is wonderful because it's an organizing principle. It tells you when to eat, it tells you what to eat, it tells you how to eat, it tells you when to sleep, how much to sleep, it tells you hang out with, who to hang out with. So it's a wonderful unifying principle which people get in other ways, but I got through boxing. And I think it was the anger, the beauty, and I don't understand it, and I still have to work on this, is that it was all unconscious. When I was boxing, when I was hitting those guys, I of course was hitting my mother. And I of course was hitting my stepfather. But I had no clue. I was just hitting that guy. It was all unconscious. So it was subliminal, and it was with art, any kind of art, which that is, you